Welcome back, it's Eddie here from Tyneside Life. I'm still buzzing from last night, that 2-win for Newcastle United over Rangers. Just the whole occasion yesterday for me was just outstanding, and that sets a really high bar going forward for this season when I'm hopefully going to get to some away games. Just testament to the type of people they are, certainly on this side of Glasgow, the Rangers fans, how hospitable and friendly and welcoming they were, and as well their energy and their passion for their football club matches ours. So it just made for a brilliant spectacle. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. I'm knackered now. You can probably see my face. I haven't got a stitch of makeup on. Look at man, I'm a mess. So we've been staying, Helen and I have been staying in the Premier Inn Pacific Quay, right here on the River Clyde, which flows through the heart of Glasgow. And literally 100 metres just there, that's the BBC Scotland studios. The bridge behind me there, that's the Clyde Arc, a bit like our Millennium Bridge. So this video I'm going to talk about 5 things that certainly I learned at the match last night. We're going to drill a little bit deeper into the actual football side of things. If you haven't seen the video I released this morning, it was like the match vlog, the whole match day experience, going to the Loudon Tavern, mixing with the Rangers fans, sitting in the Rangers end. Me and Helen were with our Newcastle United tops on, you know, in the whole experience. If you haven't watched that video, watch this one, then watch that one. You won't be disappointed, I promise. What did I learn last night? So first of all, Maxi was missing, St Maximin. I didn't realise at the time what was going on. Eddie Howe has now confirmed that St Maximin is in talks with Al Ahly, Saudi Arabian football club, in terms of a potential move out there. So he's missing from last night. In all likelihood, unless something changes, he's probably not going to go to the summer series in the USA. And I talked about this potential move to Saudi Arabia about 10 days ago. I didn't think it would be likely because clearly, as we can see by the figures that we're talking about, approximately 25 million euros, which is about 21 million pound. The PIF, who own Newcastle obviously, and have 75% ownership in the Saudi Arabian club as well, got to be really careful not to purchase their own player for an overinflated market value price. So yeah, about 21 million is probably a lot less than that we thought he might go for if we sold him, for example, to another elite European Champions League club. That might go up a little, but St Maximin, if he does go, good luck to him. He's going to more than quadruple his salary onto about £200,000 a week, £10.5 million a year, staggering amounts of money. He's probably going to knock his international career on the head if he went to Saudi Arabia for 2 or 3 years, whatever that is. But you know, I don't think you're going to get many opportunities in life to play for 200 grand a week. So yeah, Maxi was missing, so we may be selling him. Also, what should strike a chord with fans as well, especially after what Eddie Howe said in his post-match comments after Gated, is that really how things tight are financially and how difficult it is to bring players in. And he said that we weren't close. The inference being we haven't got as much money as many fans think we've got to spend, but also as well the squad is full, so we're having to move players out. So it looks like Maxi, let's say we're selling for 25 million, is probably going to fund Harvey Barnes coming in. Number 2, we need to talk about that particular Italian player who's recently signed for us, Sandro Tonali. First of all, our squad selection for the first half, Eddie Howe with his usual 4-3-3. We had Trippier, Shaw and Botman with Target starting at left back. If you haven't seen my other video, check it out. I met Matty Target's mum and the rest of his family. There was about 5 or 6 of them there. Deborah, she was very shy and very bashful actually, but she did say to us that Matty was playing the first half, and I just asked her, I says, is Matty staying at Newcastle? She went, oh yeah. I says, good. I says, because we love him. So she was really pleased about that. And Tonali in the central 3 on the right hand side were Longstaff and Anderson. So Tonali, I mean, you could see for me straight away just what a class act he is. He was assured, he was confident, he seemed to have loads of time on the ball. He's a bit like Bruno, he can turn players and wrestle them, just had that. You can tell he's just got a really quick footballing brain, and when he did have some space to spray the ball, you know, it was just done with class. Just, yeah, picking out his players, short passes, long passes. You can tell Sandro Tonali is going to be a permanent fixture in our starting 11 next season, because I was really excited about watching this guy perform. For such a young player as well, he's going to grow in Newcastle United. We've just got to be thankful for that, because he's going to turn us into a great club in the future. Number 3, here I am on St Vincent Street, which is about a mile in that direction as the heart of Glasgow city centre. I'm stood in front of a statue there of Charles Rennie Mackintosh, clearly a very important man in this neck of the woods. He was a famous architect and artist, famous for some really important historical buildings in Glasgow built in the early 1900s. Back to the footy, number 3 for me was the importance of Miggy Almiron in that front 3, with Miggy, Callum Wilson and Jamal Lewis actually up on the left. And for me, I've been a big fan of Miggy, and I do accept now and again his finished article isn't quite there. He can be a little bit like a headless chicken sometimes, but the work rate of that lad, plus the quality he brings into that right hand side of up the front when he's working with Trippier and Tonali, he's just a player. For me, Miggy is just a gem that we really need to keep a hold of. He brings so much to the game, even when something doesn't come up for him. Of course, he scored the opening goal, but even when it doesn't work out for him at the end in the final third, he causes chaos in opposition defences. He's got defences running all over, creates space for other quality players like Tonali, like Wilson or Isak, and he's just a menace. And for me, that match last night, even though it was a friendly, just showed the class of Miggy Almiron and why we should really keep a hold of him. If you'd like to see more videos like this and be notified the moment I release the next one, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Number 4, I think we have to give a special mention to Anthony Gordon and Lewis Miley. Firstly though, I think based on the first half performance, I don't think many people would disagree that we completely dominated and controlled that first half. Rangers barely got a sniff in that first half, and it was pointed out to me by a Rangers fan sat beside us or behind us, said how tenacious we were. As soon as Rangers got the ball, we were all over them as a defensive unit to get that ball back. And it was interesting hearing from an opposing fan how effective that tactic is, that Eddie Howe has instilled that tenacious energy in the team, you know, to work hard and to work like terriers as a team to get that ball back. So yeah, that was the end of the first half, and second half we made some sweeping changes, including Dummett and Gordon and Miley and White and Manquillo. I think there's one or two others I can't think off the top of my head. But you could tell, you know, and those changes have to be made to give those players an opportunity. But we did lose the flow of our system. We lacked a bit of discipline in the second half. It didn't quite work, you could tell, and Rangers grew into the game. So we'll have to give mention to Anthony Gordon and Lewis Miley, who for me shone in that second half. Well yeah, Gordon, you can tell he is just full of energy. You can tell he really wants to be in that first team for us next season. And another Rangers fan behind us as well asked who the blonde lad was. I said Anthony Gordon. I said, wow, what a player he is. He said the ball seems to be stuck to his foot. And he did. You could tell just the class and energy that that Gordon's going to bring to our game next season. Plus his tactical mind as well. You know how he cuts inside and he can spray the ball 20-30 yards by creating that space. Valuable player he's going to be for us next season. Lewis Miley, he was the same. You can tell for a 17-year-old lad from Stanley in County Durham how just cool and how just such a class act. He just really confident. He seemed to have space and time on the ball when he got it, and he'd spray the ball around like he'd been playing for England for 5 years. You know, just he's going to be a quality player for us. Lewis Miley, really impressed. So for number 4, I had to mention those two particular players. Number 5, and we're on famous Queen Street here in front of this building here, Goma, the Gallery of Modern Art, dating back to the 1800s and the tobacco trade, really important historical building for Glasgow. Behind me is a statue of the Duke of Wellington, culturally very significant for Glasgow as well. In particular, you'll notice there's a traffic cone on top of his head. That happened for the first time about 40 years ago, and every time Glasgow City Council removed it, it was subsequently put back on by little rascals from the town, determined to put a traffic cone on his head. So I've just been speaking to a member of the art gallery staff there who gives a little potted history. It would cost Glasgow City Council around about 12 grand per year to have that cone removed and all the health and safety, etc., and making sure there was no damage, until they got to the point where they just thought, you know what, this is part of Glasgow's cultural heritage now. It's a tourist attraction now, with the cone on the head. It's on postcards, and in particular now at Goma you've got Maxi doing an art exhibition which has been on for about 3 weeks, run until the end of August. It's about £15 a ticket to see Maxi stuff. I'm a big fan of Maxi stuff, so if you get the chance, come down and have a look. Yeah, so that's what that statue is. But number 5, let's talk about the fans at the match. Let's talk about straight away how magnificent Newcastle United fans were. 8,000 or so travelling up to Glasgow for with the cost of living crisis and the costs involved, to come here in their thousands, spending money for a pre-season friendly. There's nothing really riding on it. It's just testament to the type of fan base that we have. I think that's absolutely magnificent, and Newcastle United fans should be applauded for that. So Helen and I were sat in the main stand. So Newcastle's our fans were to the left of me, so we were broadside of the pitch, about halfway down the pitch. So to the right we could see the Glasgow Rangers ultras behind their goal, about 200 to 300 of them, and they never shut up, singing and jumping around and banging drums all match. And it was just a joy to watch that sort of passion and commitment. I think for me, number 5, we could take a leaf out of Rangers' book and have some sort of ultra outfit like they did behind the goal, dedicated drums, scarves, jumping up and down. They all had the same blue tops on, and it was brilliant to watch. Newcastle fans, magnificent, coming up here in their thousands. I don't think any other club would do that, so hats off to that. So these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think, what you learned about the match yesterday against Rangers. I'll be interested to hear what your views are. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget, I'm off to the United States. Me and Helen are tomorrow morning for 10 days. It's going to be absolutely exhausting, the amount of work I want to try and put together to do some quality, informative and entertaining videos. So don't forget to subscribe so you get a notification when those videos are released, because of the time difference as well. Anyway, I'll see you in Philadelphia.